Hey there, folks. Today we're diving into some critical updates on Social Security with a special focus on helping our seniors. Let's get real. Times are tough for many seniors out there. Did you know that 60% of them are scraping by, barely making it from one Social Security check to the next? That's a hard reality. Since 2010, seniors have lost 20% of their Social Security's buying power. Think about this. The average senior without a mortgage needs $2,900 a month just to cover the basics. But the average Social Security check? It's only $1,905. That's a $1,000 gap every single month. And this year's cost of living adjustment for Social Security was just 2.5%. Sounds okay, right? But hold on, Medicare premiums jumped by 6.6%. So, the small boost seniors got doesn't even cover that increase, leaving them struggling to keep up. In fact, 6% of seniors are now living in poverty, and another 20% are just barely above that line. Now, there's this big shiny bill floating around Congress with all sorts of promises. But when it comes to seniors, it's falling short. The good news? There are 7 solid proposals in the Senate that could really shake things up for seniors if they make it into that bill. I'm going to walk you through those ideas so you can decide for yourself what Congress and the President should prioritize to make life better for seniors today. Some of these proposals would boost monthly Social Security benefits, others tweak the cost of living adjustment, and a few aim to raise checks down the road. I'm Kwame Kwade, by the way, and I've spent the last 15 years as a government benefits expert, helping seniors get the retirement benefits they've earned. I create content about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, anything that impacts seniors' finances. If you're new here, welcome. Do me a quick favor, drop a comment with your city and state. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. All right, let's dig into some eye-opening data that shows why seniors are struggling and why Congress needs to stop chasing gimmicks and focus on real solutions. First up, Social Security checks just aren't cutting it. As I mentioned, the average benefit is $1,905, but 40% of seniors rely on Social Security as their only income. If you need $2,900 a month to get by without a mortgage, and you're only getting $1,900, you can see why so many seniors are stretched thin. Then there's Medicare. Seniors are paying about $185 a month for premiums, plus an average of $6,663 out of pocket each year for deductibles, copays, and other costs. If you're pulling in around $18,000 a year from Social Security and spending $6,000 on Medicare, that's a third of your income gone just to cover healthcare. For the 40% of seniors who depend solely on Social Security, this is a massive hit. Inflation's another big issue. Since 2010, it's been eating away at seniors' purchasing power, and the Social Security cost of living adjustment hasn't kept up. Why? Because it's based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. Sounds technical, but here's the problem. That index tracks costs for working folks, not seniors. It doesn't account for things like prescription drugs or medical treatments that hit seniors hardest. So, the way they calculate these adjustments is missing the mark. And then there's debt. With that $1,000 monthly gap between what seniors need and what they get, many are turning to credit cards or loans. The median debt for senior households is $34,000, and 62% of them are carrying some kind of debt. That's a lot of extra pressure. If any of this hits home for you, please share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how these challenges are affecting you or the seniors you know. Now let's talk about a looming concern, the Social Security Trust Fund. If Congress doesn't act by 2033, the fund could run dry, and seniors might face a 25% cut to their benefits. Imagine already struggling to make ends meet and then losing a quarter of your check because the system wasn't fixed. That's the kind of stress seniors are facing, worrying if Social Security will even be there in the future. So, what's the solution? Let's talk about those 7 proposals in the Senate that could bring real relief. First up is the Social Security Expansion Act, which would give every Social Security recipient, whether on retirement, disability, spousal, or survivor benefits, an extra $200 a month. This idea has been kicking around for 3 years, and with inflation, it should probably be $250 by now. But even $200 would make a huge difference, especially since this year's $50 cost of living increase didn't come close to covering seniors' losses. Second, there's a push to raise the minimum Social Security benefit to $1,750 a month, or 125% of the federal poverty level. Right now, some seniors are getting as little as $1,000 a month. That's just $12,000 a year. With Medicare costs eating up half of that, it's nearly impossible to survive. This proposal would ensure no senior on Social Security lives below the poverty line. Third, we need to fix how the cost of living adjustment is calculated. Fourth, there's a proposal to limit Social Security clawbacks. You might have heard about the Social Security Administration taking 100% of some seniors' checks to recover overpayments. The proposal is to cap clawbacks at 10% of a senior's check, which would be a huge relief, especially since overpayments are sometimes the administration's mistake. Fifth is means testing. This one's a bit controversial. It would adjust benefits based on income, giving lower-income seniors a boost and slightly reducing benefits for high earners. The idea is to balance things out and extend the life of Social Security. Sixth, there's a plan to expand Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. Making SSI easier to access would give seniors extra income to support their Social Security checks. And seventh, well, I'll be honest, the original list mentioned 7 ideas, but we've covered the core ones that are actively being discussed. The point is, these proposals, especially the $200 increase, raising the minimum benefit, and fixing the cost of living formula, could transform seniors' lives if Congress includes them in that big bill. Instead, we're seeing distractions like a proposed $4,000 tax deduction for seniors. Sounds nice, but 40% of seniors don't even file taxes because their income is too low, so it does nothing for them. In my 15 years as a benefits expert, I've never recommended a Medicare advisor until now. Why Chapter? They're the real deal. Recently, the Trump administration sued several Medicare advisory companies for misleading seniors. Chapter wasn't one of them. Chapter's advisors don't push specific plans. They're in your corner and their service is free. I've sent folks their way and the feedback has been fantastic. People love how helpful and transparent Chapter is. You won't regret reaching out. That's all for today.